Public servants, the union wants them to stay working from home. They don't want to come back to the office the way the government's asking for 3 days. Just asking, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts here in Ottawa is that I live just off Bank Street, okay, and it is a street that is a commercial street, and that commerce isn't happening on the streets of Ottawa anymore partially because there's not enough commerce happening, not enough people coming downtown to actually keep those businesses alive. So if Ottawa wants to have a thriving downtown, it's got to have a business downtown, or it has to make the changes that are going to take a long time to make, which is going to have more people living in areas where businesses, in the case of Ottawa, the business is the business of government, used to operate. So there's going to be some effects here one way or another. But getting people back into their jobs, getting people back working is part of a productive economy. If you think about how much we slowed down during COVID, we have to come back. So there's a lot of productivity that has to increase in this country. All the stats show that our productivity is way down. And it's down in the government sector, it's down in many sectors, but we need to lift that back up in order to have a country that's competitive in the world economy.
Do you think being back in the office could help with productivity from the government side?
Absolutely. There's pluses and minuses to that, but making sure you're downtown, making sure you're in your offices is one of those issues where you're focused on work all day long. Now, we also know that there's that drag that is the commute, if you will, downtown, so that'll take time off one way or another in both ways. So there's a balance there, no doubt about it. Some people can work from home, especially in service jobs. They can work from home 1 day a week or so and not have that much of a drag on productivity. So there's that balance, but we're still figuring that out in society. And I think we've kind of figured out here that, 1 day a week for service jobs, there's probably a bit of a balance in that, where you have to get back and make sure we're being more productive. So addressing the non-productive issues is something we have to deal with here pretty quickly.
I just got to ask you, because Calgary has suffered a lot of vacancies in the downtown core where you represent. Is there something that Calgary's figured out yet, how to deal with the downtown vacancies? Well, I mean, it's not an easy thing, right?
Well, think about this, 9 years, right?
Yeah.
Think about Calgary's downtown vacancy 9 years ago. Nothing like it is now. So part of this is the economic agenda of this government that has pushed a lot of jobs out of the private sector economy in Canada. So, north of 30% still in Calgary as far as the downtown office vacancies. And that's being filled somewhat with some of the changes that are happening of those conversion of old office buildings into actual residential buildings. And that's a good thing. Getting more people living downtown so they're commuting less so that you don't have to go as far to work is a healthy downtown economy. And that's a good thing as well. So that's one of the lessons that the rest of the cities in Canada can learn from what's happening in Calgary. But we do have to get that vacancy rate down so it's a productive economy, and competitive as far as rates that we're charging for those buildings in Calgary again. And I think that one step there, of course, is, like I say, more people living downtown and the conversion there. Recognize those conversions are very expensive as well. It's not cheap to do a conversion.
It's May 2024. What do you make of the fact that there still is this debate about public servants? Should they be back in the office? How many days should they be working from home? What do you make of that this is still an issue the government is kind of dealing with in some regards?
Look, the public service has their own union. They have their own agreements with the government, and they've negotiated that. The private sector economy, you can kind of take a look. There's a dichotomy between the two right now, and where is the productivity lagging the most? So this is something we need to measure. And if 3 days at work and 2 days at home is less productive as far as the outcome goes, and they measure that more in the private sector economy than they do in the public sector economy, then we're going to have to make some adjustments going forward, but also recognize that there is a contract here that their unions have negotiated for them. So adjustments to that will have to happen going forward. I can't change things when they've negotiated them and the rule of law is there, but you've got to adjust going forward. So changes can be made as we move forward here, but we need to have measurable outcomes here that actually determine what the best path is forward. Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.